Hey YouTube. I'm here because honestly, I just need to talk. I need to get my feelings off my chest after hearing what happened in Baltimore. That's crazy. You know, this is something that you would think only happens in the movies. Like, I was literally watching the video of the cargo ship hit the support of the bridge. And like 5 seconds later, the bridge collapses. And all I can think of was, this is not real. This can't be real. Um, I was thinking that it was missing a monster like King Kong, Godzilla, um, a tsunami, you know, aliens. Things that we typically see in the movie to make it something real. But I knew it was real. And I felt guilty for being so desensitized by movies because we do see this happen, but in the movies. And there's usually a monster attached. Whether that is a actual monster or Mother Nature, fed up with us. But a ship, a cargo ship, that is something that I don't think any screenplay writer could write. I mean, it's so mundane. It's like if Titanic and enter any disaster movie were to have a baby, and this would be it. Because there's a ship. And a ship that lost power, which led to the destruction of a whole freaking bridge. That's crazy. So, at the beginning of the day, they said they believed that maybe 20 people were underwater. And um, 2 people were saved. And then they mentioned that about, I think, 6 or 7 people were definitely unaccounted for. And so, more recently, they have just presumed that these people are dead. Um, that their bodies are, or the search for their bodies, um, is suspended until tomorrow, Wednesday. Um, March 27th. How are we doing, millennials? I know this event is not just affecting millennials, but I'm a millennial and I can only speak for myself. And it feels like we've been through some things this year, or not even just obviously this year, but we went through a pandemic, right? Didn't think that it was going to happen with our technology, but it did because there were people put in place to suppress the technology, the medical advances that were already put in place to prevent such a thing from happening. Before this, it was, and it still is, quiet on set, where we're finding a lot of our Nickelodeon idols or stars were abused. How are we feeling? I know to a degree I'm feeling crushed. Like, I went down a rabbit hole trying to figure out how this could have happened. Like, okay, so it's a ship and it hit a pillar. And this was before I knew that the power just went out. I said to myself, well, who was driving the dagblang thing? Like, did they not see the pillar in front of them? Is this really the Titanic just in reverse, where it's the glacier that goes down and not the boat? And even before that, it was, how could a boat knock down a whole bridge? I mean, in comparison to the bridge, the boat is fairly small. So how does that happen? My engineer of a husband actually told me how much mass the boat actually has. And he's like, yeah, that's like saying, well, how could a tank crush a car? That thing is massive. And after further research, yeah, it is pretty massive. And so going down the rabbit hole, finding that, okay, well, how you pilot a cargo ship is through power. It's electrical. Yeah. And so it made me think, well, why don't we have a generator? Why wasn't there a generator? Just in case the power went out. Why isn't there a manual option? But I guess the first part of this whole conversation actually answers that, is because it's so freaking big. And then I found out that this wasn't the first time that this particular vessel actually had a malfunction. I believe, and let me find it again, that this particular vessel, it had a incident back in 20 19. I'm so sorry. I'm still, to a degree, in the 1900s. So I'm reading from USA Today, which it actually goes against my journalism uh, teachings because I was always told to go to AP. Um, BBC is another good source. Um, but USA Today, um, that wasn't told to me as a good source. So let me go back. BBC is something that I believe I found out in film school is a good source. Um, but in journalism school, in journalism, while I was completing my degree in print journalism, we were told AP. AP News is where it's at. You don't go past them because they usually have correct news. Um, I believe that my faith in AP has dwindled just a little bit because of the Jonathan Majors case. Like, there was so much evidence that was out there that was easy to find that it was weird when I believe even AP was reporting whatever Variety was reporting. And it was like, AP, you are the news. You are the source. You are the resource that we all go to when we don't have anything. And you are quoting Variety? What? But anyway, I digress. There is one news source that I found recently that I believe I need to vet a little bit more, but um, they seem to be very non biased, which I like. I feel like a lot of news resources have become very political or very much paid off. So it's kind of hard to decipher who's telling the truth and who's not. Um, sometimes I think to myself, I wish I can get out there and get the news firsthand. But honestly, I'm too lazy. I feel like I'm too lazy. Like, I need to go to sleep. And news does not sleep. Like, this happened at 2 in the morning. And, well, 4 o'clock. No, 2 in the morning. So that means 12 o'clock my time, right? Because this happened this happened in in Baltimore, Maryland, um, at 2. So if that's 2, then that'll be 12 a.m. my time because I'm behind. Um, I'm Mountain Standard Time. Baltimore, Maryland is Eastern Standard Time, for those who didn't know. So I found the article. The first thing that popped up was USA Today. And it says Baltimore bridge collapse wasn't first major accident for giant container ship Dali. I think I'm saying that correctly. Dali, or it might be Dali. But I believe that because it has Indian, um, it has Indian birthing, or it has some kind of Indian ties, then I believe is Dali. Dali. Anyway, um, So, okay. Where did I read it? Okay, and it says the ship in Tuesday's crash, Dali, was involved in at least one prior accident when it collided with a shipping pier in Belgium. I'm so sorry. 2016 incident occurred as Dali was leaving port in Ant- Antwerp. I hope I'm saying that right. And struck a loading pier made of stone. Um, I'm guessing that this thing finds piers or supports uh, every time that it loses some kind of control. But I digress. Um, Causing damage to the ship's stern, according to vesselfinder.com, a site that tracks ships across the world. An investigation determined a mistake made by the ship's master and pilot was to blame. So, okay, so at that time, that was a human error. No one was injured in the crash, although the ship required repair and a full inspection before being returned to service. The pier or berth was also seriously damaged and had to be closed. Vessel Finder reports that the Dali was characterized, um, was chartered, forgive me, was chartered by it's Maersk, the same company charting it during the Baltimore harbor incident. The 9-year-old container ship has had passed previous inspections during its time at sea, but during one such inspection in June at the port of San Antonio in Chile, officials discovered a deficiency with its propulsion and auxiliary machinery, the gauges, thermometers, etc., is what it says. According to the Tokyo MOU, an intergovernmental maritime authority in the Asia Pacific region, the report provided no other information about the deficiency except to note that it was not serious enough to remove the ship from service. So that was not serious enough to remove the ship from service. So that makes me believe that they have seen this before. And ships have, gone on with no incident before it. So they didn't believe that there was something wrong. Interesting. Very interesting. And during his time, but one such time in June. So this was June. This was June last year. So I wonder, will this lead them to look at other ships that had similar problems and try to prevent this from happening? Of course, the only way to truly prevent this from happening is to discover truly what led to the power failure. Like, they can say, well, there was something with the propulsion and auxiliary machinery at the time, but it's been good until now. Like, June, let's see, right now we're in March, April, May, June. We have 3 more months before it's a full year, before, at the anniversary of the inspection. So that means it took 9 months. 9 months for it to fail from that inspection. So could it have been prevented? I mean, we see errors all the time, right? I worked in IT. I see errors all the time. Some are worse than others. Most of the time is just turn it off, turn it back on. You're fine. Um, Rarely is it a true defect. Um, Something that needs to be turned in, something that will expose, something that will be a danger to people. Very rare. And I'm sorry. I'm still processing this. I've been processing this all day. Like I feel like I've gone through the moments of grief and I have no skin in the game. None. I believe I have family there, but I'm pretty sure they're perfectly fine. I can only imagine how the people felt who were on the bridge, seeing the limited access happen behind you or maybe in front of you. I'm not familiar with how this bridge goes. And then it happens. And it's only seconds before you're falling. There's more thoughts about the crew who were on not the ship, but on the bridge. There was a construction crew who was on the bridge, and they were just repairing cement. How must they have felt when traffic was being limited? I don't know. I go through these moments where I think about somebody else's last moments. That hopelessness. I mean, literally, the AP, I believe it's AP, the AP article says in its headline, Baltimore bridge collapses after powerless cargo ship rams into support column. 6 presumed dead. Powerless. Like we use that word so frequently, saying I was powerless to stop this from happening. But this cargo ship was literally powerless. What could one do if they knew? How could this have been prevented? I mean, we read that this ship didn't pass inspection. Not completely. It was just more so a technicality. Oh, yeah, it's fine. If the ship had been taken off from there, of course, there's a thought that this wouldn't have happened. But then there is that thought of how many other ships are out there who have passed, you know, the who have passed inspection with some type of asterisk to it. Would this incident cause all ships that didn't truly pass inspection to be recalled? I mean, if my Honda Civic had any type of defect, Honda is going to tell me about it. Honda, even if it's something about the radio, like that's not really something that has to do with my safety, but it does stop the ability of the car from performing uh at quality or like it was supposed to. So they'll have a recall out for it and they'll fix my radio. I mean, most likely it's not a radio. It's more of a my brakes, something with the steering column, something with the rear view, my my rear camera. They're gonna find if there is a defect, then Honda is going to tell me about it and have me come into one of their dealers. Well, one of their dealerships, one of their approved engineers to have them fix it. So now, still processing. I'm wondering if cargo ships have that same ability. Do they have someone who they have to report to? Well, no, they don't. Like I said, still processing because we just saw that. We just read that they don't. Like this seems like something that if it was a Honda, then Honda would have said, "Okay, yeah, there's this defect. Hey, cargo ship, come. We need you to come in and be fixed before you do anything else." I don't think I can say anything else about this. I feel like I'm just rambling right now. Like I just needed to talk. You know, this is not a makeup news because obviously I'm not putting on any makeup. Um, Aunt Flo is actually due to visit tomorrow, and she has given me some lovely, lovely things. Lovely gifts already. And I don't feel like putting on makeup. I do have an audition that I need to do. I need to have it turned in by Friday. But I'm just like, the thought of putting on makeup, just mainly right here, is really, really bothering me. I feel like I need to just suck it up and just do it, and I'll do it tomorrow. I will. But yeah, maybe this will be a segment. You know, maybe some other play on words. You know, because I find that I can't really talk about everything while I'm putting on makeup. And I'm not always putting on makeup. And not all the time I have time to talk while I put on makeup. Like, it's not like it goes over. It's not like that. But, you know, sometimes I have to be on set at 7 a.m. My whole house. I'm the only one that wakes up at like 5 in the morning. Sometimes I wake up earlier than that and I just force myself to go back to sleep. So, having a conversation on YouTube at 5 a.m. It's not, it, no. No, 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 no. I can't help but to think about Steve from Blue's Clues, because he recently went on to, I believe, X, and put out a video just asking us how we're doing. Like, basically took a page from Elmo saying, how are we doing? And that was in response to Quiet on Set. So now you know how I'm doing. I feel like as time goes on, I'm still going to go down a rabbit hole of how did something that we only pictured would happen in the movies happen in real life. And maybe this is going to be like that whole Titanic exploration ship, um, where eventually we just all just said, rich people. Ugh. Yeah, we shrugged it off. What about those people who drowned in the ocean, not too far away from it? What about those people? We don't care about them because they're not rich. And the thing is, I didn't know about them, so I can't feel for them. And I hate arguments like that. I really do. Because how can you feel for someone that you don't know? And of the people who were lost in that little tiny Titanic cruiser, let me actually find the actual term for it. Titan. How did I forget that? The implosion of Titan. I actually felt for the 17-year-old boy. And I feel guilty. Let me say that. I feel guilty for only feeling for that little boy. He was only 17. And he only went because it was Father's Day. And he went with his father. It was a Father's Day trip, but he knew. He did his research. And he knew there was something up. And he was scared. I know this little kid was thinking that perhaps what I found out was wrong. Perhaps nothing will happen. I mean, obviously, this vessel had gone under multiple times, but even then, there were warnings. Basically, people that just, got out by the skin of their teeth, just scraping past. Will this be like that incident? And I guess it's only ironic that that situation happened in June of last year, and the inspection of the Dali cargo ship happened in June of last year. Coincidence? I think about coincidences, and I think about the song Ironic by Alanis Morissette. Anyway, I am rambling again, but I do feel better. And I hope that I made you feel better by going down this rabbit hole with me. Maybe we both needed to explore our feelings about this incident, why it even affects us. I mean, I feel like it affects us because we never believed that it would ever happen. This is so sci-fi, so fictional. It's almost like 9/11. Like 9/11 was, and here I go rambling again, but yeah, this is where my mind goes when I'm processing things. I remember 9/11. I remember ironically being in my history class when it happened. And I remember being rushed to a TV to see basically history happen in front of me. It was shocking, jarring to see something happen to the great US of A. Nobody touches us. We are the big dog. But here, we have been touched on our soil. I remember not even knowing about the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan. I had no idea. I felt like all of these wars actually came because these wars that we have now came because of 9/11. Like, I'm okay with, okay, yeah, you got us, we're going to get you. And And but I feel like after getting them back, and we should have just, okay, yeah, we're done. We got what we got, and go. But it wasn't as clean as that. And apparently we had been there for a while before in wars. I was actually going to join the Air Force after I graduated high school. And then my parents asked me to wait until after college. And then after college, I realized that I didn't want to join the Air Force because I didn't want any part of that war. It's like, it's still going on. It's still going strong. Like, no, I'm good. So now something is that can only be seen in the movies has happened. And there is no monster, no natural disaster, just technical error. I believe I'm going to follow this story and see if we have learned from this incident, if we are going to make improvements to our cargo ship so this won't happen again. Anyway, rambling again. Maybe this should be a segment called Let's Get Ready to Ramble. I actually thought of this being called Ther-recy, like therapy. Okay, that sounds kind of lame now that I say it out loud. Um, Maybe we just call it Untitled, like any good script. Until we can find a name. But thank you. Thank you for your time. You didn't have to take this time out and listen to me, but you did. And I appreciate you. So, until next time, I'll catch you later. Oh, that felt bad right now. Well, let's say until next time. Stay safe. I love you.